With the PSVR 2's release date just around the corner at this point, it's time to start thinking about what games you want to get at launch. So here's my top 5 launch titles that you should not miss for the PSVR 2. Let's dive right in. Number 5, Horizon Call of the Mountain. Horizon Call of the Mountain is the latest game in the popular Horizon franchise. Players will step into the role of Rias, a disgraced former soldier who must descend the towering peaks of the Kaja Sundom and uncover a mystery surrounding the machines in order to redeem himself and save his people. Along the way, players will meet Aloy and other familiar and new characters. The game takes full advantage of the new reactive triggers and the sense controllers, with resistance building as you pull back on your bowstring and subtle headset haptic feedback responses at key moments in the game. The finger touch detection and haptic control responses also make it feel like you're picking up items in the real world, further adding to the immersive nature of virtual reality. My 4th pick is After the Fall, one of my personal favourite VR games of all time. If you're a big fan of Left 4 Dead, After the Fall is the game for you. After the Fall is an epic VR action FPS that pits up to 4 players against a post-apocalyptic world filled with undead creatures mutated by the cold. The game features intense co-op gameplay, cross-play between all major VR platforms, endless replayability, a competitive PvP arena, and a horde mode. Originally released for the original PSVR headset, if you own that version of the game, you will be granted with a free upgrade to the PSVR 2 version of the game. My 3rd pick today is No Man's Sky. Space games really come into their own in virtual reality, and No Man's Sky is no exception. The game is an exploration-based science fiction title that takes place in an infinite procedurally generated universe. Players explore new planets, discover new species, collect resources, and interact with other civilizations as they progress through the game. The game has received several major updates since release, adding new features and gameplay mechanics such as the ability to build and customize bases, ride animals, and engage in space combat. And you can do this with your friends, since they did actually end up adding in multiplayer. No Man's Sky is already available for the original PSVR, so owners of that version of the game will get a free upgrade to the PSVR 2 version, just like with After the Fall. My number 2 pick goes to The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. With a title that takes far too long to say, The Walking Dead Chapter 2 is a direct sequel to the original Saints and Sinners title. Players will be hunted by the unstoppable Axeman and will face off against the tower's push for total dominance as they search for the final showdown to determine the fate of New Orleans. The game features new faces, places, weapons, and gear. The Walking Dead Chapter 2 is already available on the MetaQuest 2, however, we are expecting a huge upgrade in the PSVR 2 version and the PCVR version of the game, showcasing the visual fidelity and the immersive experience of the title. The Walking Dead Chapter 1 will be coming to PSVR 2, but according to my sources, that won't be at launch. And finally, taking my top pick at number 1, Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village is the sequel to Capcom's popular pants-oiling simulator Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Players will take on the role of Ethan Winters as he searches for a kidnapped daughter in a village plagued by mutant creatures. The game features realistic graphics, immersive gameplay, and a variety of weapons and characters to face off against, such as the ever-wonderful Lady Dimitrescu. Resident Evil 7's VR mode was a headset-selling game, and I expect Village to do the same for Sony's next HMD. Well, that's it for my list. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. And if there's a game that I haven't covered in this video, please put it in the comments section below. I'd be really interested to see what titles you are most anticipating for the PSVR 2 launch. I know for me, the games that I've listed are games that I'm particularly interested in. They kind of hit a particular spot for me, so that's why they are my most anticipated and my must-have titles. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video on this next week, which is going to be upcoming PSVR 2 titles that are coming after launch, so games coming in basically within 2023, hopefully, which I think you will enjoy as well. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel if you would like to keep up to date with all the content that I produce. In the meantime, that's it from me. Ciao.